big turning point for me was getting an ACL injury. So that really kind of rocked my journey. That's when I sort of discovered the gym and discovered my passion for coaching.
Meet Kai, an online fitness coach and a former A-League football player whose career was cut short by an ACL injury. What started as a setback became the very thing that actually led him to coaching and eventually to building a business of his own. When Kai started working with me, he'd built himself up to nearly 20 clients and then watched 5 or 6 of them leave within the space of a month. By the time he reached out to me, he was down to 10. He had no clear ICP, he was making content inconsistently, and his business was starting to crack under its own bottlenecks. And after 12 weeks of working together, that completely changed. He signed 11 new clients, hit his first 10K month, and closed at 75% with less than 600 followers at the time.
In the time I've been working with JP, I've increased my client base to 21. So I've added 11 new members into my team. I hit my first 10K a month, which was one of my big goals that I had starting this as well, which was super happy.
In this conversation, Kai actually breaks down what changed, the moment he actually felt clarity for the first time in his business, why he had to trust the process before seeing results straight away, and what it actually feels like to see your confidence compound week on week when you know the things are actually moving the needle forward in the business.
When I first reached out to JP, I was very skeptical, but JP made it very clear that, you know, it was a real person and he was very genuine about like who he helps.
Boys and girls, welcome. We're here with Kai Kamikura, the big dog, and yeah, we're just here having a cheeky little chat about just, I guess, this experience, you know, I guess with working with, you know, myself and, you know, the team, which is amazing. Kai, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kai. My Instagram handle is Kami Fitness, and I've been working with JP for 12 weeks now.
Just about.
Yeah, just about 12 weeks now, so 3 months in total. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Just tell us a bit about yourself, dude. Like, you know, who are you? What do you do? What's your story? Like,
Yeah.
how did you ever get into coaching?
So, I'm 23 years old. I come from a sporting background, specifically football, so soccer. Played in the A-League youth setups throughout my life. And then the big turning point for me was getting my ACL injury. So that really kind of rocked my journey. And that's when I sort of discovered the gym and discovered my passion for coaching. And I think from 2024 onwards, I've been coaching. I was coaching previously at a personal training studio. And then late last year, I decided to start my own business from a different gym. And yeah.
That's right, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate you, dude.
Yeah.
You don't have to look kind of about.
No. Oh, yeah.
You
Okay.
could.
No, I'm looking at you or?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. No, you're all good. You're all good.
Oh, well.
But bro, it's genuinely amazing. We've obviously already chatted about it a lot, but
Yeah.
it's really unfortunate, like particularly because Kai, like, he's from a football background, which is, well, I mean, there's people talk about football. It's like, you know, is it soccer? Is it rugby? He comes from a soccer background.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kai would probably be biased to say that it's actually called football.
I've actually don't mind. Like, there's some people I say footy, some people I say soccer. I guess it just depends on context.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, I think ACLs are super common, like in soccer in particular. But I just between, you know, sport to sport, it's obviously not ideal. And I think you going from where you were to like obviously go through the transformation, like even if like I guess, you know, one of the boys will put it up on screen, like it is very, very significant. Like, you know, you've actually made a massive physical change in the last few years and you should be proud of yourself, bro. It's genuine.
Yeah, I understand.
And also like the fact that, you know, you're able to help, you know, other boys through that, but also like on a deeper level, like we were talking about, not just because of them, you know, getting over the injury, but it's more the feelings of like being overlooked and obviously like not that they feel valuable, I guess, you know, with what they're doing, and they need that like clarity and sense of purpose like in their life, which is massive. But
100%.
we obviously, like you said, it's been about, you know, around 12 weeks since we, you know, started working together, bro. But take me back to the time when I guess we first started working together.
Yeah.
What was going on, and like how were things in general, and I guess how were you feeling too?
So I think when I reached out to you, it would have been start of February or just close to. Yeah. So in that period of time, it was about 6 months since I first started my personal sort of business. And the first few months, things were going really well. I was gaining a lot of leads through my gym, and I was starting to post a little bit more regularly on social media. But I think 2026, the start of 2026, I should say, that's when I noticed a couple things within my business. Being like social media, for example. I didn't really know what to post. There'd be weeks where I'd only post once a week, or there'd be weeks I'd post twice a week. And not only that, I didn't really know who I was targeting like my content towards. I guess you could say my content was very generalized and not really solving a problem or anything. It was kind of just, it was just super generalized. And I guess, it didn't really make an impact on anything. And particularly, I was trying to grow an online, business as well. And then also, I guess, my retention as well was starting to slip up as well. So I probably built to about 18, 19 clients on my own. But then in the space of like a month, I probably dropped about 5 or 6 clients. And then, by the time I reached out to you, I think on like 10 clients. So I was really starting to see the bare bones of my business, get exposed. And that's when I realized I probably need to do something about it. So yeah.
It makes a lot of sense, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate you going through a lot of it. We've obviously spoken about it.
Yeah.
I guess at that point in time, like, given you're at like the 18 to 20, you got pretty quick results when you started initially, but without, I guess, having that clarity on what the future was to hold, given where the business was at. How did it feel going from that, I guess, close to 20 clients to the 10 clients in that like short time frame?
Oh, it definitely makes an impact. Like you start to question yourself, you start to second guess, your abilities as a coach, but also just as like a person as well. And I think it really took a hit on my confidence. Obviously, every week you want to get exponentially better, but when you start seeing regressions week on week, that's when you kind of really, it kind of makes a big impact, and you kind of notice that as well. Obviously, for myself being such a I guess how you say it, like a harsh critic on myself, it really impacted me because, I always strive to be better and always want to make improvements. But then, looking at my business as a whole and seeing it decline in that rate, it kind of, opened an eye up for me and made me realize that, am I even doing the right thing and whatnot? So yeah.
Definitely sort of sense, bro. Appreciate that. And I think that's not just, I would say, relatable to fitness coaches, but I would just say anyone striving to do something more in life. Like even Bailey behind the camera, I'm sure would, feel that way. He does it even better. So
Yeah.
He obviously understands that too. And bro, it's definitely takes a toll on like your confidence and I guess like your self-worth particularly. It makes a lot of sense if you go ahead and I guess it's bro, it's like you build yourself up and you kind of have this standard for yourself. And then when you dip below that, it kind of like obviously crushes like the way you feel about it.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%.
So it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And then I guess you reached out and then I guess we, obviously we started working. But
yeah.
Talk me through the experience like at the beginning, like when we first started, what we did initially, and I guess what the real big turning point was for you when you started realizing this. Like, okay, far out, like things are actually changing.
So I think, leading up to the process of me reaching out to you, I was very, I guess, hesitant on like what direction I should go. Should I take a mentorship, or should I, reach out and invest into something? So I was very curious, but I was also very skeptical as well, because, obviously the whole, online space is very unknown, right? So, when I first reached out to JP, I was very skeptical, but JP made it very clear that, it was, a real person, and he was very genuine about like who he helps. And obviously, you've helped a couple boys that I know as well. So it made it very easy for me to, relate and connect in that aspect as well. But I think, just from the moment we spoke to, the onboarding and how you got me set up straight away was very smooth. And I think the word I always use the whole time is it was very clear. There's a lot of clarity behind it. Like everything you explained to me had a meaning behind it, and there was a reason why we did it. And that made me feel a lot more comfortable, because I knew that every step that we were taking, there was an outcome or a result because of, like, you know what I mean? Like there was a reason why we were doing it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think that made it a lot easier for me to trust in you. And, when I started seeing, the results add up, it definitely meant, well, that's kind of that's when I knew that like what we were doing was, it was working as well. And I think I don't know what the turning point was, but I think it was more of like a, I can't really outline a specific turning point for me, but it was more every week I felt myself being more confident and being almost, the same feeling of where I left off before, which really helped. And I think maybe there was a period where, I was a bit low in confidence and a bit low self-esteem. But then, week on week, I felt a lot better about where I was and myself and my abilities, but also where the business was heading. And I knew there was a clear plan behind it. So I think, yeah, you could say that was a turning point because, yeah, just week on week, it slowly compounded. And yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. No. And I'm so glad. And I know one of the biggest things that we did speak about at the beginning was clarity.
Yeah.
You were really confused around what to do, how to do it, like how to even structure things.
Yeah.
So I see you even talking to. So I think the fact that I was able to give you that clarity is obviously just such a big blessing. And
100%.
obviously the confidence compounding week by week is obviously amazing as well.
Yeah.
Although there wasn't that like one big turning point, like you were saying, like the fact that I could help you gain your confidence over time is just like, it's amazing, bro.
Yeah, it kind of, yeah, I guess, just kept adding and adding and adding. And then, yeah, I'm at the point now where I'm, I know where the business is heading and I'm confident in what I'm doing, and every step I'm taking is going to lead me to where I want to be, which is, yeah, super important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess obviously given there wasn't, that one big turning point, but I guess the results did just compound from, I guess, doing the work that we need to do initially,
Yeah.
and then executing on it properly, which, bro, from your standpoint, big props to you because you genuinely have gone and just executed everything I've asked you to do, like to your fullest capacity.
Yeah.
And obviously it's like led you, which is such a blessing to like where you are at the moment.
Yeah.
What's happened in these last like 12 weeks, bro?
Just I guess a lot of things, just the thing you've had planned for me. So the plan that you obviously set out for me it was broken down into simple steps. It was very clear for me to understand. And, every time I had a question, you were able to reach out, reply quick. And that ultimately gave me confidence, not that I knew, because like, often at times you reply to someone or you respond to someone, but then, it might take an hour or two. And in that time, you just don't know what to do. Whereas, with JP, if I'm able to send a message, he's able to get back to me within like 10 minutes. And that just made things a lot smoother, especially throughout the day. And then, yeah, just over the last 12 weeks, it just kept adding on and on and on. And, like I said, as I grew into it, I just became more confident in what I was doing. And just having that direction and that clarity just was a game changer, bro. So, yeah.
I'm so glad to see you, bro. So glad to hear. Talk to me in terms of, I guess, the results as well. Since we've worked together, what have we actually achieved?
So the main thing for me was obviously finding an audience that I could speak to, but also, getting my overall client base up as well. And also, with that inherently comes a revenue increase as well. So, in the time I've been working with JP, I've increased my client base to 21 or 20? 21. So I've added 11 new members into my team. Obviously with that, I hit my first 10K a month, which was one of my big goals that I had starting this as well, which was super happy. I was super happy with. And yeah, there's the main thing, just an overall, path that I need to take to keep growing. So yeah, so that's probably the things I've actually achieved here.
How amazing, bro. That's genuine. And even if we actually like look back on it, because the first maybe 3 to 4 weeks of us working together was really just dialing in the back end and the messaging,
Yeah.
and who we were talking about. So realistically, even though I think you hit the 10K mark and like you got up, obviously we've signed more clients since then, but we only really got there probably like what was it? Like
I think it was
6 weeks or 7 weeks.
it was a month of April pretty much.
Yeah.
So like 4 or 5 weeks.
Pretty nuts, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was literally when we started the outreach.
Legit. As soon as you started.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? I just have to trust in the process, you know. I know that's thrown around a lot, but I genuinely, because you laid it out to me on the steps we're taking each week by week, I knew that the results would come. I just had to trust in your word, and literally that's what we did. And, you know, week by week, we just ticked boxes off, made sure we got this in check. And then when it was time to outreach and speak to people and, you know, find my audience, that's when, things started to just click straight away.
Absolutely, bro. It's insane because also, which we actually established towards the end of the quarter, you actually closed at 75%.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you realize how crazy that is.
Nah, I don't realize.
Like the industry standard is around 30 to 40.
Okay.
But I push my boys and I push like you boys to get anywhere from 50 to 60. You well exceeded that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and that's without like building that pre-core asset that we were talking about, like that VSO.
The VSO, yeah.
Which I don't think you realize is how crazy that is. It's like, it's actually stupid. Sorry. So yeah, it's honestly amazing. And I'm just, you know, blessed to have been able to like, you know, teach you the right skills, but also sequence things in the right way. So you felt confident in trusting the plan, but also, I guess, you know, building a sales process that felt genuine to you that you were able to execute on as well.
100%.
Which is absolutely amazing. In terms of like, I know we've obviously spoken about this briefly, but if anyone were like potentially curious, because like, bro, as you were, and I know as so many people are, like, unfortunately, there's so much skepticism in the market with people in general when they're like helping people like, I guess, build their businesses and do what they need to do. What would you say to someone like who's on the fence potentially, or who's like genuinely considering help, but not sure whether to like, you know, put their faith into growing a business or working with us?
I think just do it, man. Like, just bite the bullet, trust in JP, because, you know, like you said and like I said, there's just a lot of, you know, unknown and uncertainty in the online market. But with JP, and what stands out with him, he's just the, you know, down to earth dude. He's genuine about what he does. You know, you're passionate about, you know, actually helping other people, and that's instantly what gravitated towards, you know, actually reaching out to you. You know, obviously I knew a couple of people that had, you know, worked with you or were working with you, and, you know, the feedback I got from them was, you know, nothing but good words. So I knew once they had, you know, once I trusted them, then I could trust in you to help me out as well. So I think what JP brings to the table is just an immense amount of clarity. I think that's the best way to say it. I think just crystal clear with everything he does, and there's always a why behind it, which is super important. You know, you can ask him any question, you know, why we're doing this, why we're doing that, what's this for, what's that for, and he's just always got an answer for it because he's got that plan for you. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then on like secondary thing, you obviously said you really enjoyed the support from myself.
Yeah.
But also you obviously know we've got our team behind us as well. How would you say the support overall has been just from everyone?
Yeah, it's been really good. Not only just from you, but also Christine. Yeah, Christine. Yeah, she'll send me like 2-3 reminders every week of just like, you know, KPIs and what I need to do. And that's really helped as well. And I think just, you know, everything's very professional. You know, when it comes to, you know, check-ins, you know, the forms, when things need to be updated, they're updated quickly. So everything on the back end is super professional. And I think that transitions into what you actually, you know, mentor as well, in terms of like how to set up my business and other people's businesses. Like, it's very structured and it's very professional, which is super important because, you know, before me reaching out to you, there was a lot of me just winging it and just like looking on TikTok or social media and seeing, you know, what this guy's doing or that guy's doing. And, you know, having someone there to actually be like, no, we're going to do this instead, just made such a difference. And I can definitely see it in the way my business is running for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Oh, good, bro.
Any last words or anything you want to chat about?
Any last words? No, honestly not, man. Just, yeah, everything I said is just like, yeah, just speaking the truth, bro.
I appreciate it.
I don't really beat around the bush, so, but nah, JP's been super helpful, and I can't thank him enough, honestly. Like, yeah, can't thank you enough, bro. Seriously, it was just, yeah, it's been a pleasure working, and I'm excited to continue working too.
I agree, bro. I
Yeah.
agree. Let's go get a chemistry day.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Yes.
Let's do it, bro. I appreciate
Thank you
that.
so much. I appreciate all, bro.
If you made it to the end of the video and you heard everything that Kai had to say, I genuinely appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. But there's one thing that I want to highlight from what he actually said. And it's not just that he went from 10 clients to 21, hit his first 10K month, and closed at 75% with less than 600 followers. It was when he was talking about there was a why behind everything that we were doing. You can ask any question. That's something that's super underrated that not many people can actually gain doing things alone. Because you can work as hard as you physically possibly can. You can actually be disciplined and put in a lot of hard work. But if it's not on the right things or in the right sequence, all your hard work and effort is essentially going to go to nothing. Kai had to trust the process before he saw any results, and that's what actually made the difference in order to actually get him to where he wanted to go. So if you feel like you're doing everything alone, you're unsure about what next move to take in the business, and you finally want to grow to the level that you want to, go ahead and send me a message on Insta. I'm super keen to connect, and then from there we can set up a time to have a genuine convo just to understand you at a deeper level, where things are at the moment, and if there's genuinely any opportunity that I can help you. If I can't, I'll be honest, and I'll go ahead and try and put you in the right direction regardless.